What up, y'all? This is AKT Aktion, and we're going to go over the 5 things that can ruin a recording every single time. If you haven't hit the site yet, hit indieamplify.com. You can buy features, you can buy beats, you can get YouTube reactors to react to your music videos, all kinds of stuff, consulting. Hit it up right now. indieamplify.com. So when you are recording, there are many things you have to think about to make sure that the sound quality is good. So the recording phase, also known as the tracking phase, is different from the mixing and mastering phase. All you have to do is get a quality recording without the sound being affected by outside parameters, whether it be reverb or anything else, which we're going to get into. So all you got to do is get a nice clean recording, because as long as you have a nice clean recording, an engineer that knows what he's doing can make it sound great. So no matter what studio you're in, you can get a great recording. You're just gonna have to worry about a few things. I'm gonna give you 5 things today that you can watch out for to make sure you have a great recording so that either you or someone else can mix it down and master it, and you can have industry grade material for sure. So number 1 on my list always is distortion! You don't want distortion. You never want distortion. Distortion is your enemy. Now, after you record something, if you want the effect of distortion on a vocal, that's great, always sounds cool. But you do not want it while you are recording. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have the mic in the right spot. You want to make sure your gain levels are right, your preamp levels are right, everything's right, and watch that meter while you're recording and make sure it's not hitting that red. You want to keep it in that yellow-green area. If anything, play it safe. You're better off slightly quiet than getting distortion. Once you have distortion in the signal, there is no way to get it out. Again, I will say, once you have distortion in the signal, there is no way of getting it out, okay? So you better make sure there's no distortion. So as long as there's no distortion, there's a good chance your vocal is going to be good enough and clean enough to be mixed and mastered to an industry standard. Number 2 is reverb. Okay. Reverb. It's a great effect for sure, but you normally want to apply it after you record it. Because if you got reverb on the signal when you record it, it's stuck there, and that amount of reverb is there no matter what you do. So what you want to do is make sure you're in a room with some foam put up, a mattress, whatever you got to do to absorb that sound. You don't want it bouncing off walls all over the place, you know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure you have something to absorb the sound, whether behind the mic, behind the artist, wherever you can put it. But you got to put it all around them. You kind of have to configure it as you go. So record something, hear if there's still reverb in there. If there is, move things around, shift things around, whatever you got to do, but you must avoid reverb. Number 3 is proximity. Your proximity to the mic. So how close am I to this mic? It gets a little bit closer here, and then we come back here, that's a different sound. So you want to make sure you're in the right position for the song you are creating. Okay, some voices, a really soft voice, they might need to get really close because they're going to whisper into the mic. But then again, somebody else might want to yell. But like I said, you got to make sure you have the right proximity. So while you're recording, make sure you're moving the mic, moving the artist, and making sure they're in the right proximity, the right distance from the microphone. Number 4, performance. I know this is obvious, but some people forget about it. Your performance is the most important part of the recording. So 1, you need to be comfortable in the recording environment you're in. And 2, you need to always give the best performance that you can. If you have to do 20 takes to get something right, like I have to do to make these videos, then you do it. You know what I'm saying? So do whatever you got to do to get that great take. Whether you got to let the beat loop and keep saying it over and over again, do whatever you got to do, because the better your takes, the better it's going to sound. No matter how clean your sound is, if it's not a good performance, it's going to be whack. And that's just the end of the story. So you got to make sure your performance is on point every time. Number 5 is background noise. You don't want to have any background noise that you don't have to have. So if you're about to record in your house and you're about to set up your studio, make sure it's in a room that's away from the street if possible. Make sure there's no babies crying. Make sure your phone is on silent. There's all kinds of things you can do to make sure you don't get any added noise in there. So knowing that, you know it's going to get compressed. You know it's going to get smushed. So you got to be sure that your noise level is super, 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 super low. So every time, make sure there's nothing on in the room, if possible, to make sure that is as low as possible. I know sometimes you can't avoid it. There's computer, there's other things, but just do the best that you possibly can. Move the microphone as far away from those things as possible so there is no noise in the recording at all. All right, those are the 5 things to avoid so you don't ruin a recording. I'm out.